So as we approach the viewing area for the Buffalo Bill Museum, we are met with two representations of Buffalo Bill Cody and one of my favorite photographs of him, and little sure shot Annie Oakley, who was about 5 feet tall. So she actually might be literally about that height. And as for Cody, he was regarded to be about 5'10". He's probably a little bigger than this cardboard cutout, but still, this is one of my favorite photographs of him, which you'll probably find in different representations throughout the museum. One photograph that comes up quite often is the picture of him with Wild Bill Hickok and Texas Jack, which is that's the one I've seen most often in these collections. And of course, a large variety of different firearms and beautiful artifacts from the Wild West show. Buffalo Bill is someone I thoroughly enjoy quite a bit, and I've actually read one or two of his books, but I haven't studied his life as intricately. There's another Annie Oakley, by the way. One person who is not featured here in any of these displays so far is Calamity Jane, who's actually one of my favorite Western women in the Wild West events and folklore. And she was someone who was a great storyteller. Buffalo Bill Cody often has an unfortunate representation of being regarded as a showman, and people try to say that he exaggerated the truth a little bit. Generally, the things that he represents and shows off usually tend to be true. His exploits have probably been exaggerated by various dime authors and people, using their various interpretations of him. But generally, if it came from the horse's mouth, it's usually accurate. And his Wild West show was a good conglomeration of military, Native American, and different cultures and military influences across the world, set to an entertaining program, which if there was any exaggerations to the truth, it was probably just for show business purposes. You can't be totally accurate in any kind of media representation or reenactment, but they weren't strict reenactments. They were shows, they were displays, they were largely meant for. There's a Wild West depiction which almost looks like Custer right there with a beard, but anyway, it's probably someone else. Say beautiful posters all throughout this exhibit. Like I said, this is a very satisfying museum. This is one of the best ones I've ever been to in my life, and it just seems like it has everything, but it could always have more, which is a testament to the great life of Buffalo Bill Cody. And what more can you say about him other than that, there's a famous actor by the name of Paul Newman who made a movie about him that, kind of depicted him as being more insensitive to the Indians. But from what I've read and collected about Buffalo Bill Cody, that depiction couldn't be farther from the truth. And I don't know how certain Hollywood people kind of sleep at night with, extensively lying about our ancestors and forefathers in such a way. But it's a continuing trend among many modern, people to kind of vilify the previous generations. And here in the Buffalo Bill Museum in LeClaire, Iowa, you see nothing but respect and all kinds of value emphasized for people of all, backgrounds and generations, both up to and beyond Buffalo Bill himself. And obviously, if you go over here, I don't know if I made a good enough video or not, you have an exhibit to Cecil Fletcher, who is a great musician who recorded one of the famous Buffalo Bill Cody songs. And he was a Christian musician with Christian songs, and who you see some Christian pamphlets down here. And probably a lot of his various instruments are ones that he would have at least used. My family had that type of accordion once. I wish we still did. Beautiful old time music records. Buffalo Bill would have loved this. And then over here you got Antoine Leclaire, who is Leclerc's namesake and I guess you could call founder, who is a trader, interpreter, businessman, helped negotiate some of the Sac and Fox treaties. And then right over here, this is a most interesting man that I hope to learn more about, and I just learned of today if I hadn't remembered him before, and his name is James Buchanan Eads, and he was a designer and ship manufacturer of the Union armored boats, who invested some of his own capital into the armored battleships before he was, in return compensated by the government after their performance. This is a salvage ship, which James Eads worked on prior to being the ship manufacturer and made his profit on. And I never heard of one of these before or looked at one. Appears to be a lower level that scoops the ground and drags it right up there. And like I said, it's just kind of an interesting thing. I like to get my hands on some of those books that they feature here. I don't know where to find them. Of course, here's the fake Indian exhibit to Iron Eyes Cody, who shares the same last name as Buffalo Bill Cody. And he's not a Cody, and he's not really Indian. He's just an Italian, but he was a great actor. He was prominently featured in a favorite movie of mine called Ernest Goes to Camp. And then he's most famous for the crying Indian commercials over about the environment and so on. And over here, so it's hard to turn around without running into more stuff. Looks like actual money from the period, different bills from different states, and then little Boy Scout badges and stuff like that. We've already been to the back and shown pretty extensively what's there. Native American deer skirt. I did not see this as I walked through it. Medicine arrow. Then as I tried to record this earlier, but I forgot that I didn't turn it on yet, my mom would take special interest in the papoose carriers. These are the Indian backpacks that the Native American women used to carry their children. Some of the browner ones are more what I would imagine, but in photographs you don't always see the vibrant colors or detailed illustrations, beadery and everything. Nice hats and everything. But down here with the arrowhead, let's see, show some more of these. The arrowhead section, you see arrowheads made of all kinds of different rocks and in different shapes and patterns, and they're scattered all throughout different areas across the United States. You'll see these in common use as they use them for hunting and war. And sometimes I wonder if they always made them or if they just picked up sharp stones sometimes. But regardless of the fact, like I said, it's not unlikely to come across those in varying degrees. Some of them are deliberately barbed so that once they penetrate, some little smoothing stones. War Club. We will have to come back here at some point in time to record it all. Until then.